Hey guys, welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I'm Taylor. I share these videos every week to give y'all some dinner ideas and to motivate myself and y'all to cook for your family. If you like these kinds of videos, I hope that you'll subscribe down below. At the end of this video, there will be an announcement, and if you're a fellow creator, you're not going to want to miss it. Now let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. It is Friday night, and we are starting off this week with pizza. Super easy homemade pizza. I've shared the recipe of this dough many times. I've talked about it so many times, like it's more than I could count. It's our favorite. It's called fail-proof pizza dough. I will have it linked down below. I actually didn't even have to make it tonight because usually when I make it, I double the recipe and stick half of it in the freezer. So this morning I just pulled out that half that I had in the freezer, and that made dinner super duper easy. And then I just got pepperoni, mozzarella cheese, and I used this tomato basil sauce that I had in the fridge. It's from Aldi, and I just had part of a jar. I don't remember what I used the other part for, but yeah, I had some of that in the fridge, so we're using that on our pizza. I'll make another pizza when Andy gets home later, because the dough, like each batch of the dough can make 2 pizzas, so when I double it I can make 4, so I have enough dough in the fridge still to make another pizza. That's what's left of this one. It'll probably get eaten. And then I have salad with ranch, cucumber, and everything but the bagel seasoning. Elijah wanted the Aldi brand, like Olive Garden dressing. And then he's got some peppers and cucumber on the side. And Lily doesn't like salad, so she just has red and orange sweet peppers and cucumber. And that is going to be dinner for Friday. Saturday night, I made a family favorite that I haven't made in a while. This was originally a meal that we had from HelloFresh like 2 years ago, and it's called lemon and rosemary chicken with Parmesan couscous. I started off by bringing some salted water to a boil, and in my heated cast iron, I added some butter and some olive oil. I have 2 chicken breasts that I've sliced in half horizontally so that they're thin, and I'm seasoning them on both sides with some Badia complete seasoning and some salt and pepper, and I'm going to cook those in my cast iron pan until they're browned on both sides, which is going to take about 6 minutes per side. When my water came to a boil, I added in 1 cup of pasta. It's supposed to be couscous, but I used some small shells instead because I was out of couscous. And I also added in some rosemary. When my pasta was done, I drained it and reserved some of the pasta water, and then I added in some lemon zest, grated Parmesan cheese, and some of the pasta water and some pepper. When the chicken was cooked through, I added minced garlic, rosemary, and crushed red pepper to the middle of the pan, and I let that cook for about a minute until fragrant. Then I added in lemon juice, 2/3 a cup of water, 10 ounces of halved grape tomatoes, and I simmered that for about 5 minutes until it started to thicken. After that, I turned off the heat and added in 2 tablespoons of butter. Okay, here is the finished dinner. I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't have orzo, and even more disappointed that I didn't have the couscous because Kroger didn't have it, but it tastes just the same pretty much on these little mini shell noodles. So that is my plate, Andy's plate. These are the kids' plates. Lily doesn't really care for cooked tomatoes that much, and Elijah doesn't really like tomatoes at all. So I gave him some orange mini sweet peppers and Lily some red mini sweet peppers. And I did take some of the sauce from the chicken and put it over their chicken, which is on top of their pasta. And I cut up their chicken just to make it super easy for them to eat. But this is a favorite. It's been a favorite for a long time. So I will have everything listed out down below for you guys to try it if you want to. But that is going to be dinner for Saturday. It is Sunday morning and I am prepping dinner for tonight. I put this London broil in the fridge last night to thaw out, and then I just sliced it up. So it was a big London broil and I just cut it into slices because it cooks faster that way. I will be frying this in the pan. I'm going to do it the same way that I always do it for like steak burrito bowls. But tonight we are having like steak tacos on corn tortillas. One of the things that we've missed since not really eating out as much is like authentic tacos from our favorite place called Don Pedro's, and basically it's just corn tortillas with steak on top, and they will do like cilantro and onion, but I don't like raw onion and neither does Andy, so we usually don't get that or like get it on the side and like put some of the cilantro on there. So I'm gonna make something similar tonight, just winging it kind of. As I said, I'm going to marinate this the same way that I do for my steak burrito bowls. So I have some olive oil, some cumin, some paprika, some soy sauce. Usually I do fresh cilantro, but I only have a tiny bit and I'd rather do fresh in the pico that I'm making. So I'm going to use some of this dried cilantro. Got some minced garlic. I'm going to do some salt and pepper, and then I'm going to use half of this lemon for the steak and then the other half for the pico. For the pico, I follow a recipe from All Recipes. I will have that link down below for you guys. I'm going to use 6 of these aroma tomatoes. I'm going to dice them up. I'm going to use half of one of these jalapenos, half of this red onion. This is the little bit of cilantro that I have that's fresh, so I'm going to throw that in there. I might throw some of the dried in there as well. We'll see. And then I'm going to need some minced garlic for this as well, and garlic powder, and cumin, and then some salt and pepper to taste. But I'm going to go ahead and get all this done early today so that it can just kind of marinate in the fridge. it's time to cook dinner. I've got my steak out of the fridge. I am heating up my cast iron pan. I've got it over medium heat. I'm going to turn it up to medium high when I cook the steak. Cooking it at a higher temperature helps cook out all the moisture, and so it's not just like sitting in liquid. It helps to get like a nice like char on it like it was grilled. So I will do that. And then over here I've got some black beans over medium heat with some seasoning. I've got this Goya, the perfect seasoning in there. The only difference between this and the Badia really is that this has cumin in it, so I thought that that would be good in the beans. I can't remember if I put it in there before or not. I haven't used this much just because it has the cumin in it, so I don't feel like it's as all-purpose as the Badia, but this is really good, so I will put that in there. I did use it on chicken. That's right, I used it on chicken one time and it was good on that. But we are adding that to the beans tonight. And then in my Instant Pot, I have my Mexican rice going, and I will leave a video down below where I made that. It's super easy and delicious. But I'm going to go ahead and get this pan hot and get my steak going. Okay, I chopped up some of the steak a little bit smaller so it'll be easier to eat on our tacos, especially for the kids. There's still a lot of steak back there to cut up. I'll cut up more probably for Andy when he gets home. More beans. I did heat up our corn tortillas on the stove in a pan. So these are warm. And I know typically like tacos, like authentic tacos, don't have like cheese on them. At least where we go. As I said before, it's just like raw white onion and cilantro on the tacos. But we're at home and we have cheese and we like cheese. I'm putting cheese on my tacos with the Pico. I know I said earlier I don't like raw onion, and I don't, but I don't mind it in Pico. Like red onion and Pico does not bother me. So this is my plate, and I just have 2 tacos and some beans, and then the kids, they just have cheese on their taco, no Pico, and then they have the rice that I made, which I said will be linked down below. It's super good. I'm just not the biggest fan of rice, and I'd rather eat an extra taco than eat rice. So that is going to be our dinner for Sunday. It's Monday night, and tonight for dinner I am making meatball sliders. So I'm starting off by making my meatballs. These are Parmesan meatballs, and I make them in the air fryer. I will have this recipe linked down below for you guys. It's not my recipe, but I did, you know, write it down so it makes it easier for me, and I don't have to look it up all the time. So I have 2 pounds of ground beef thawed out. I've got my eggs, some Worcestershire Parmesan cheese, and I prefer to use this just because it's easy. Garlic powder, onion powder. I gotta get out the minced garlic. I am gonna do garlic powder and minced garlic. I've got panko and some Italian seasoning, and then I've got salt and pepper back there. And I just put it all in my KitchenAid, and it literally, you don't want to over mix it, but it literally takes like 30 seconds to mix all of that, and then you don't have to mix it by hand. And then I will use my cookie scoop. I might use my hands to make them a little bit bigger today. I think I'm going to use my hands today. Since I am making sliders, I'm going to make them a little bit bigger so that we can have 1 meatball on each sandwich. So I'll just roll them out by hand, and then they will go in the air fryer and cook on 350. Since I'm doing them bigger, they might take a little bit longer, but usually I do 15 minutes. These might take closer to 20. We will see. But just going to go ahead and get all that in the KitchenAid. Okay, now I did make these a little bit bigger than the buns because they will shrink up a little bit. So I've got, what, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 meatballs, which is more buns than I have. I think I only have, there's only 12 buns in there, but that is okay. I'm going to check them probably halfway through and see if I think I need to flip them, but I don't usually flip them. They're usually fine. But because these ones are a little bit bigger, we'll see. But I'm going to cook them on 350, like I said, and probably about 20 minutes total. Okay, meatballs took 25 minutes at 350, and I did flip them at about 15 minutes. And I cut one open, make sure they're done. And now I've got some homemade pasta sauce in here. I just heated it up, and this is only about half of a jar. And I think this is going to be plenty. I'm going to dip the meatballs in the sauce, coat them, and then stick them on top of my slider buns. These are the ones from Kroger. They're like $1 or something, and you don't have to cut them. So they are awesome. So I just took the tops off, got those in there. So as I said, meatball, dip in sauce, and then put the meatball on the bread. 1 meatball per piece. And then I've got some mozzarella cheese, and that'll go on top. Put the buns on top, and then I melted 1 tablespoon of the Chef Chamois garlic parmesan butter, and I will brush that on top. Cover this with foil, and I'm going to bake it for 15 minutes on 350, and then take the foil off and bake it for about another 5 minutes. Okay, to go with our meatball sliders, I just made some curly fries. These are what the kids picked when we were at the store. They picked fries to go with it. So the kids each have 1 slider to start off with. They might each have another one. And I have 2 and some fries. And when Andy gets home later, I will reheat these. I'm probably going to stick this back in the oven with the foil on top just to keep it warm. And then I'll make him some more fries to go with it when he gets here that are fresh. But that is going to be dinner for Monday. Tuesday night was a really easy 1-pot pasta from Pressure Luck. I will have his video linked down below. I started off by browning some ground sausage in 1 tablespoon of butter with 1 tablespoon of minced dried onion instead of the shallots that the recipe calls for, and 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning and half a teaspoon of dried parsley. You don't have to fully cook the sausage, you just want to get it about halfway cooked. It's going to continue cooking when you pressure cook it. So when it was about halfway cooked, I added in some minced garlic, the 3 cups of chicken broth, and 10 ounces of cherry tomatoes, and I made sure to stir that well and scrape any bits off the bottom. Then I poured in a 16-ounce box of medium shells and I pushed them into the liquid, but I did not stir it. Then I added in 2 big handfuls of spinach, and again, I did not stir it. This pressure cooked on manual high pressure for 5 minutes, and then I did a quick release. After the quick release, I stirred in half a cup of heavy cream, a 5.2-ounce package of Boursin garlic and herb cheese, and 1 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. This is my second time making this, and it was so good. The last time I couldn't find that Boursin cheese, and like Walmart substituted some other cheese, and I used it, and it was really good. But this time it was even better. Like, that Boursin is just, I don't know, something about it just made it even better. We absolutely love this pasta and highly recommend it, and we'll definitely make it again in the future. Wednesday night I made a lasagna. I've shared how I do lasagna many times. I will link one of those videos down below. And we just had it with like a side salad. Me and Elijah had salad with cucumbers and ranch and everything but the bagel seasoning. And then Lily just had some mini sweet peppers and some cucumbers. It is Thursday night, and tonight for dinner I am making beef stew. And so I'm starting off by making some rice in my Instant Pot. I'm actually going to make the beef stew in my Instant Pot as well, and that's going to take a little while. I was going to make it in the crock pot, but this morning I just didn't feel like doing that. So we're going to make it in the Instant Pot tonight. It'll be my first time trying it in there. So in here in my Instant Pot I have 2 cups of white rice. I did not rinse this or anything. I find that it's not necessary when I'm just making rice, so I just kind of stopped doing it. I used to do it all the time, but I really don't notice a difference in when I do it and when I don't do it. But I've got 2 cups in there, and I'm going to add in 2 cups of water. And if you don't need this much rice, you could always do less. You just want to do equal parts water and rice. So like 1 cup and 1 cup, 1.5 cups, 1.5 cups, whatever you need to do. And then you could also do chicken broth instead. When I am making like fried rice, I usually will add chicken broth instead of water. But I just want regular old plain white rice tonight. And then I will add a little bit of a splash of olive oil. Just a tiny bit, I don't measure it. And then just a little splash of white vinegar. Again, just a tiny little bit, I don't measure it. I'm going to stir that all around, and then I'm going to pressure cook this on manual high pressure for 5 minutes, and then I will let it naturally release for about 15 to 18 minutes. Okay, rice is cooked. It has been on keep warm, naturally releasing for 17 minutes. So all the steam should be released now. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. I'm going to fluff this rice. See, perfect rice. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and remove this pot, put a lid on it, and get my other little insert in here so I can make the beef stew. Okay, I've got the Instant Pot on saute. I'm going to add some olive oil in here. And then once this gets hot, I'm going to add in my beef stew meat. These are chunks of beef, as Andy labeled it. It's probably about 2 pounds. I'm going to add that in there, season it with some salt and pepper and Italian seasoning, but I lost my Italian seasoning. Oh, there it is. Italian seasoning. And then just kind of brown that on all sides. It doesn't have to be cooked through, but that is going to be the first step, getting our meat browned. Okay, my meat is browned on all sides. Now I'm going to pour in 2.5 cups of beef broth and try to scrape up any bits that are stuck to the bottom. I feel like I might end up needing to add more liquid. We'll see. There's a lot of carrots and potatoes that I'm about to add. I'm about to add onions, carrots, potatoes, Worcestershire, minced garlic, and a can of tomato sauce. It says a 10-ounce can of tomato sauce. All I have is a 15-ounce can, so I'm going to throw the whole can in there, see what it looks like, and I might need to add a little bit more broth. We'll see. And then I will cover this and cook it for 35 minutes on manual high pressure and let it naturally release for 10. Okay, all the pressure and steam has been released. I just opened it up. I stuck a fork and everything. It is done. It smells amazing. I have 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water that I just mixed in here. I'm going to pour that in there, stir it up. It'll thicken up real fast, and then we will put this over our rice. I haven't tasted it yet. It's very hot still, but I went ahead and made our plates. So they look like the meat is super tender, just like the vegetables. It might actually be a little bit too tender, like maybe 30 minutes would have been enough. The potatoes are kind of like falling apart a little bit, but I think it's going to taste amazing. I will leave a little note here on the screen letting you know how we like it, and the recipe will be listed out down below for you guys. And that is going to be dinner for Thursday. Okay, now for the announcement. I am hosting an open collab with a bunch of lovely ladies here on YouTube. We were actually pulled together by Leslie over at Midlife and Nailing It, and there's 7 of us that are hosting this holiday season collab. The theme of the collab is what Granny always made during the holiday season, but Granny can be changed to any family or friend, whatever works for you. And you just want to make a video for a recipe of something that someone you know always made for the holiday season, and you're going to want to mention us, the hosts, and the playlist in the video, and then list the playlist and the host channels in the description box. This video is going to be going live December 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The hosts of the collab are myself, Leslie from Midlife and Nailing It, Andrea from Andrea Shenanigans, Dee from D Lovely Life, Katie from Missouri Grown Carolina Home, Desiree from Mama Friendly, and Brooke Nicole. So make sure you check out their channels, and I made this little picture here on the screen. You guys can screenshot it so you can remember all the details. And if you come back to this video in the description box on December 10th, I will have the playlist link for you guys down there. And I will also list out all this information down there as well. It's open to anyone. Anyone can participate as long as you have a YouTube channel. If you have any questions, you can email myself or any of the hosts. I'm sure any of us would be happy to answer any questions. I'm really excited for this collab to see all the different recipes that everyone shares. Things like this are always super fun. You always get a lot of new things, as well as seeing like things that you already make, but somebody makes a different way. I think that's always fun and cool to see as well. So if you're interested in participating, leave me a comment down below and tell me that you're going to participate. That's not required, but I just think it's nice to know who's going to participate, and then I can go ahead and like check out your channel. So that is the information on that, and that is going to do it for this week's What's for Dinner. If you made it here all the way to the end, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.